As someone you love started showing subtle but concerning changes over the past year, it's a thought no one wants to face, but the truth is many of us assume that death in old age happens suddenly, without warning. However, the reality is that the body often sends quiet signals months, or even a year, before life reaches its final stage. The problem is that these signs can seem small at first, easily dismissed as just part of aging. It's only later, when looking back, that families realize the clues were there all along. And by then, it's too late to prepare, too late to make those last memories count. In this video, we're going to explore 5 key signs that often appear a year before an elderly person passes away. Some of them might be things you've noticed but brushed off as just part of growing older. Others might seem like small changes but are actually signals of the body's gradual decline. Recognizing these signs early gives you the chance to provide better care, cherish meaningful moments, and most importantly, ensure that your loved one's final stage of life is filled with comfort, dignity, and peace. Understanding these signs is about being proactive emotionally and practically preparing for what's ahead. Stay with us until the end, because these 5 signs will help you recognize what's happening, giving you the ability to handle the time you have left with more awareness and intention. When you're aware, you won't be caught off guard. You'll be ready to make the most of the time left, ensuring that those final moments are as meaningful as possible. Let's get started. Number 1, significant weight loss. One of the earliest and most telling signs that a person may be approaching the final year of their life is unintentional weight loss. At first, it might seem subtle, a belt that suddenly needs tightening, clothes that feel looser, or an appetite that starts to fade. Many families dismiss these changes as just part of getting older, but the truth is, losing weight without trying is rarely a good sign. Unexplained weight loss can often indicate that the body is no longer absorbing nutrients properly, muscle mass is decreasing, and essential systems are beginning to slow down. While some muscle loss naturally happens with age when it occurs too quickly, it's a signal that something deeper is at play. The body may be struggling to digest food or no longer processing protein effectively, leading to muscle wasting. This loss of strength doesn't just make movement more difficult, it also increases the risk of falls, weakens the immune system, and makes a person more vulnerable to infections. Another cause of weight loss in the final stages of life is changes in appetite. Many elderly individuals simply don't feel hungry in the same way they once did. Their sense of taste fades and food becomes less enjoyable. Meals may be skipped and portion sizes shrink. This isn't just about preference, it's a physiological change. The body, sensing it's beginning to shut down, no longer signals the brain to seek food as often. The result, less energy, less strength, and a gradual decline in health. Weight loss is also a common symptom of chronic illnesses like cancer, heart failure, or kidney disease, all of which can progress well before more obvious symptoms appear. Even mental health issues like depression or cognitive decline can contribute to reduced eating, creating a downward spiral where the body isn't getting the fuel it needs to maintain its functions. Some families try to solve this by encouraging loved ones to eat more, offering favorite foods or supplementing meals with protein shakes. But if the weight continues to drop despite these efforts, it's important to recognize that the issue goes beyond diet. It's the body preparing for a deeper transition. Instead of forcing large meals, focusing on comfort, easy-to-eat foods and hydration can help maintain quality of life in these moments. If you notice significant weight loss, especially when coupled with eating less, feeling weaker, or struggling to stay active, it's crucial to recognize the body's message. Understanding these changes early allows you to provide better care, comfort, and dignity during this time. Number 2, extreme fatigue and weakness. One of the most noticeable changes in the year leading up to the end of life is a profound, persistent fatigue that doesn't go away with rest. It's not just the usual tiredness after a long day, it's an overwhelming exhaustion that makes even simple tasks feel like a struggle. Getting out of bed becomes difficult, walking across the room takes more effort, and activities that once felt routine, like cooking, dressing, or even holding a conversation, become too draining. This fatigue isn't just a result of aging, it's a sign that the body is conserving its remaining energy. As organ function begins to slow down, the body starts prioritizing essential functions. The heart becomes less efficient, circulation weakens, and muscles no longer get the oxygen they once did. This is why many elderly people in their final months experience weakness, unsteadiness, and an inability to maintain the same activity level they once enjoyed. Metabolic slowdown is another contributing factor. The body is designed to produce and use energy, but as it prepares for its final phase, energy is redirected toward preservation. Instead of fueling movement, the body shifts towards sustaining vital functions. This often results in more sleep, longer naps, and difficulty staying awake for extended periods. Some people may experience sudden drops in energy where they seem fine one moment but utterly drained the next. The emotional toll of this fatigue can be just as difficult. Seniors who once took pride in their independence may begin feeling frustrated or embarrassed by their inability to do what they once could. They may withdraw from conversations, avoid socializing, or stop engaging in hobbies, not because they no longer care, but because they simply don't have the energy. This can lead to isolation, which only accelerates the decline. Number 3. Increased cognitive confusion or withdrawal. As a person nears the final stage of life, one of the most noticeable changes is in how they think, communicate, and relate to others. You may see someone who was once sharp and fully engaged begin to forget things more often, struggle to follow conversations, or seem disoriented in places they've known for years. They might repeat themselves, forget names, or lose track of time, even if they had no previous memory issues. These subtle changes can begin months or even a year before death. This isn't just ordinary forgetfulness. The brain, like any organ, needs a steady flow of oxygen and nutrients to function properly, but as circulation weakens and the brain receives less oxygen, cognitive functions start to decline. The person may become easily confused, have trouble making decisions, or even fail to recognize familiar people and places. At times, they may experience short moments of clarity, followed by sudden confusion, almost as if their mind is flickering in and out. Emotional withdrawal is another common sign. Those nearing the end of life often lose interest in socializing. You might notice them speaking less, engaging less, or spending long periods in silence. It's not that they don't care about their loved ones, it's simply that their brain no longer processes emotions and social interactions the way it once did. Conversations can feel exhausting. Loud environments become overwhelming, and eventually many older adults retreat into their own quiet world. You may also notice changes in mood and behavior. Some people become more irritable, anxious, or easily frustrated, while others seem unusually calm, distant, or indifferent to things that once mattered. This isn't a change in personality, rather it's a reflection of the brain adjusting to the body's decline. As cognitive function slows, expressing emotions becomes harder, and the person may stop reacting to situations the way they used to. For families, this stage can be especially challenging. Watching a loved one lose touch with reality or pull away emotionally can feel like you're losing them even before they're actually gone. But it's important to understand that this is not something they can control. Instead of trying to bring them back into conversations, the best approach is to meet them where they are. Speak gently, offer reassurance, and remember that even if they don't always respond, they can still feel your presence. If a loved one becomes more forgetful, confused, or disengaged, don't ignore it. These are often early signs that the body and mind are preparing for the final transition. This is a time for patience, cherishing quiet moments, and creating an environment that feels safe, familiar, and peaceful. Because even when words fade, love and comfort still linger. Let's move on. Number 4, frequent infections and slow healing. As the body begins to wind down, one of the clearest physical signs is a weakened immune system. You might notice that someone who rarely got sick before now seems to catch every cold, flu, and minor infection. What once would have been a simple illness now takes much longer to recover from, and even small wounds like a cut or bruise heal at a noticeably slower pace. These changes are not random. They are signs that the body can no longer defend and repair itself like it once did. One of the main concerns is repeated infections: pneumonia, urinary tract infections, skin infections, and even oral infections. Many families think these are just isolated illnesses, but when they start happening frequently or take longer to clear up, it's often a sign that the body is losing its ability to fight back. Antibiotics that once worked well may seem less effective. The person might need stronger medications, longer recovery periods, or multiple rounds of treatment for infections that would have been minor before. This happens because, as circulation slows and organs decline, the body doesn't respond to treatment as effectively. Another concern is chronic wounds. If you notice that small cuts, sores, or bruises are not healing properly or seem to reopen, it could mean that circulation is compromised. Poor blood flow means oxygen and nutrients are not reaching the skin and tissues as they should, making healing much slower. Pressure sores, especially for those with limited mobility, become a serious risk and can lead to dangerous infections if not carefully managed. What's more, infections in the final stage of life often don't show up in the way we expect. Instead of a high fever, an elderly person may simply seem more tired than usual, more confused, or lose interest in eating. In fact, for seniors, a sudden drop in mental clarity is often the first sign of an infection, even before other symptoms show up. This is why it's so important to recognize these changes early. They can make a big difference in the comfort and support your loved one receives during their final stage of life. For families, watching a loved one go through frequent infections can be heartbreaking. It's tempting to push for aggressive treatments, hoping that one more round of antibiotics or one more hospital visit will make a difference. But at some point, the focus often shifts from curing the illness to providing comfort. Ensuring your loved one stays hydrated, keeping their skin clean and moisturized, and minimizing stress on their body can often do more for their well-being than more rounds of medication that may only prolong suffering. If you're still watching this video and finding these insights helpful, please comment number 4 below to let me know you're here. And if you haven't subscribed yet, I recommend you do so and turn on notifications so you don't miss any upcoming videos. Your support helps us continue creating valuable content to inform and inspire you. Now let's move forward. Number 5, significant changes in breathing or circulation. One of the most noticeable signs that the body is preparing for its final stages is a change in breathing patterns and circulation. You may begin to notice that your loved one is breathing more slowly or more shallowly than before. At times, there might be pauses between breaths, or their breathing may become irregular, speeding up and slowing down unexpectedly. Some people experience a breathing pattern known as Cheney-Stokes respiration, where the breathing alternates between deep, rapid breaths and long pauses. These changes may start gradually, but over time they become more noticeable and frequent. Another sign to watch for is weakened circulation. You may notice that their hands, feet, or even their nose and ears feel cold to the touch. The skin may appear pale, bluish, or mottled, particularly around the fingers and toes. This happens because the body is redirecting blood flow to the vital organs, reducing circulation to the extremities. It's a clear indication that the heart is not pumping as strongly as it once did. Some people also experience shortness of breath. Even with the slightest movement, simply sitting up, talking, or shifting positions can leave them feeling winded or out of breath. You may see them breathing through their mouth more often, or they might suddenly need to stop and catch their breath during a conversation. If they used to walk across the room with ease but now struggle, it could be a sign their lung function is declining. Sometimes fluid builds up in the lungs, making it harder to breathe. This might result in a persistent cough, gurgling sounds, or a tight feeling in the chest. While many assume it's simply congestion from a cold, for older adults nearing the end of life, it often signals that the lungs are weakening. Lying flat can become uncomfortable, and they may prefer to sleep propped up on pillows or in a recliner to ease their breathing. Seeing these changes can be unsettling for family members. It's natural to want to help, to encourage deeper breaths, or to worry that something urgent is happening. However, in many cases, this is just the body's way of naturally slowing down. While it may not always be possible to reverse these changes, there are ways to make your loved one more comfortable. Keeping the room cool, using a humidifier, or offering small sips of water can help relieve some discomfort. In some instances, medications or oxygen therapy may provide relief, but the focus shifts from trying to fix the issue to providing comfort. Final thoughts. As we wrap up today, take a moment to reflect on the 5 signs we've discussed: significant weight loss, extreme fatigue, cognitive decline, frequent infections, and major changes in breathing and circulation. These are often the signs that appear during the year leading up to an elderly person's passing. They might not all happen at once, and they may not be immediately obvious, but once you start noticing them, it's a sign that the body is preparing for its final transition. For many families, these changes can be difficult to accept. It's natural to want to fight against them, to encourage a loved one to eat more, move more, or push through the exhaustion. But sometimes the best thing we can do is listen to what their body is telling us. Rather than focusing on reversing the inevitable, we can focus on making their remaining time as peaceful, comfortable, and meaningful as possible. Recognizing these signs isn't about fearing death, it's about being prepared for it. When you identify these changes early, you can provide better care, make important decisions ahead of time, and ensure that your loved one's final months are filled with love and dignity. This is a time for cherishing moments, sharing stories, and showing them that they are loved and not alone. If you notice these signs in someone close to you, take a deep breath and remember that you are not alone in this journey. Many families have walked this path before, and while it's never easy, knowing what to expect can help you find strength, patience, and peace. Thank you for joining us today. We'd love to hear from you. Please leave a comment below and share one thing you learned today and how you plan to use it in your life. Your thoughts mean a great deal to us, and reading your comments gives us motivation and encouragement. If you enjoyed this video and found it helpful, please like, subscribe, and share. Your support helps us continue creating meaningful content. Thank you for watching, and we look forward to seeing you in the next video.